over time, we have been told that police is your friend. And indeed, police are supposed to be our friend.
Yeah, well, welcome to this wonderful episode on Marble TV Live. My name is Chidi Peters, and with me in the studio is Augustine Omilo, a public analyst, commentator, and a computer guru. This wonderful episode, we want to look at police brutality versus civilian brutality, and the very big question: why the brutality from both sides? Augustine Omilo, let me talk to you.
Yes.
In recent time, Nigeria has been seeing a kind of war, per se, quote unquote, police brutality on civilians and civilian brutality on police. Of course, the police IG seem not to take any of this very, very rightly. It seems to be going tough on both sides. We've seen a number of police officers losing their jobs, and we've seen a number of civilians that attack police in uniform being jailed. What is your opinion in this regard?
Well, for me, these are some of the social maladies we have in our society. Because in the first place, it is wrong for the civilian or any civilian for that matter to launch an unwarranted attack on the police, particularly uniformed men. Now, why do they have to do that? Because over time, we have been told that police is your friend. And indeed, police are supposed to be our friend. Because if you are in a place now where you are missing, as it were, you don't find, that is, you are in a place now where you want to, you are confused. The next thing to do, just look around and see whether you can find a policeman. And the moment you find one, because, you just assume that every other man there may not be good enough to help you. But the moment you find a policeman, you find yourself breathing a sigh of relief that you have found a friend. Yes, you can find out from the policeman now how you can go. And normally, the policeman will direct you and, if possible, even lead you to where you are going to. But today now, the reverse is becoming the case. Now, we are blaming the police for brutalizing the civilians. Oftentimes also, we hear civilians also giving police dirty slap. And all this is now boiled down to a situation where you have a society that is at war with its security operatives. We don't trust the police, and police don't trust you. Now, who is now protecting who? It's a very big problem, and a social problem that's supposed to be resolved as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we are facing a situation where the people will be in kind of chaos, because you don't have police to report to, and police no longer trust the civilian. It's a war that has been declared.
Of course, this is a serious war, but the war is seems to be heightened after the NSAS saga, which triggered up in Nigeria, that saw nearly through 3 to 4 days shutdown across the country, youth protesting police brutality. But it appeared that after that time, the issue of police brutality seemed to have heightened, and of course, that's a constant retaliation by the civilian. However, the case is, what is your view about the IG's action, that is Ahmed Al-Khali action on the police, and so far its action on the civilian to ensure there's maintenance of law and order on both sides?
Yes, we have seen cases where civilians who assaulted police officers were arrested really, and maybe some of them now are facing prosecution, being subjected to the law. Yes, there is no doubt that that is the best way to go, because it will act as a deterrent to people who want to do the same path. Yes, then on the part of the police, I don't go to the police office often, but I know that the last time I went, long time ago now, I saw many police officers who were in what they call the cell, just like, although their own cell is different from the normal criminal cell, but you see them facing disciplinary actions, because the police will first of all try you, because you see, it is very easy for people to say, police, they can't do anything they like. If any policeman does anything against a civilian, be bold enough. If you, as a civilian, you know you are right to be bold enough to report to the police authorities. The police authorities will take it up and make sure that that officer is brought to book. And that is, for me, what has been happening, even though some of them are not really publicized enough for people to know. And therefore, it is high time the police officers began to behave themselves in civil manners, because police is not soldier, police is not navy. Police are supposed to be friendly to the people because they are closer to the people, and they are supposed to maintain that kind of civility anywhere they go. And we expect the civilians also to reciprocate by conducting themselves in manners that will not, force the police people to begin to exert force before they begin to comply with
Well,
normal laws.
we have overzealous police officers, and of course, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of them may have to go back to mental tests to ensure their mental capacity. And of course, we also see a part of frustration setting in
Yeah.
because of the bigger stipends they receive as salary, who does not even take them home. You
Yeah.
see them vetting anger on individuals. So beyond them going through disciplinary action, I also see in the light of where the federal government also have to do a lot of things, a lot of work to ensure that they have a very welfare package. And of course, we've seen police officers retiring. At the end of the day, they can't even get their gratuity. Before they get their gratuity, they must pass through thick and thin. And of course, we have seen a lot of fallen police officers whose widows and children were just out from the barrack. Of course, news says that even the barrack, police pay for it individually. The barrack is not for free for them. So you find out that the federal government on their own part are not doing wonderfully well in terms of police welfare. How can somebody's father begin to be sleeping outside that come from Kano or Meduguri to Enugu or to Oyo, and he has nowhere to sleep before being outside? So sometimes it's frustrating as far as I'm concerned. So as far as I'm concerned, beyond Alkali's job he's doing to ensure civility on both sides, there's also need for the Police Service Commission to up their game. And there's also need for the federal government also to look into police welfare. But the most current one, which is of course trending, and which of course Nigerians are saying why, a lot of comments are coming on the court and prosecution, and of course we've seen police changing out charges and so on and so forth, is the issue of the son of the late legend, of course, Emerson Kuti. We saw the son, Shehu Kuti, landing a heavy slap on a police officer, and he said he's in defense because his family is in danger. Without being prejudiced on this matter, from the normal literal mind, how was assessment?
Yes, my assessment is that what Shehu did is actually very, very wrong.
That he said he was protecting his family because his life was in danger.
No, you see, there is a level to which you protect your family, and everybody will see it that indeed you are protecting your family. You don't protect your family by being the aggressor. You protect your family by defending yourself, And what we saw in the video showed somebody who was the aggressor, not the defender. Because if you saw the policeman who was running away from him, that is the man that was defending himself, not him. Because if the policeman was to react the way the man actually attacked him, maybe he would have triggered, he would have brought up his gun. In that case, he will tell you that he's actually defending himself because it was in the defense of his life that he actually shot. That would have been the story. But in this case, you saw the aggressor. Now, what that kind of attitude shows again in this country is that some of us, if we just have a little money in our pocket, you begin to see yourself as somebody who is above the law. And of course, it has worked for some people. When you do some things and you say nothing may happen, and indeed nothing may happen. So, but we're beginning to now see that, yes, at the end of the day, let the law take its course, because the matter is in court, and let everybody that is involved present their matters, and of course, let him be actually listened to, and if he's free, let him be free of the offense we're accusing him of.
I think we also have to go into opening also police gadgets, because police, as far as I'm concerned, Nigerian people don't have body cam camera where they can video what happened around them. They don't have it.
Yeah.
And of course, some of the instruments they use is kind of AK-47. Some of them are rusty guns. And of course, the technical know-how seems not to be there as far as police standing on the road is concerned. You can only see police acting somehow when they show of force. But individually, do you think that they need individually to be well equipped? That when you see a police officer, you see a police officer with body cam, you see a police officer walking, talking, you see a police officer with all the instruments and gadgets needed for him to operate as a police officer, not as a Boy Scout.
Let me even tell you something that may shock you. For close to 10 years, there was no recruitment in the police. And therefore, for that gap to be filled, it's not going to be automatic. If you see most of these people that are on the road now, some of them are police officers that have been there for like 20 years. They are no longer like the young people that you used to see, maybe like the young boys of maybe between 20 and maybe 30 years, very agile. Now, these people that you see, sometimes you see about a man of 40 years, 45 years on the road carrying the AK-47. The AK-47 alone, the weight of it is so much that you cannot even be smart enough to act like the kind of policeman you are describing now, which is wrong. Now, that suffering brings kind of pain and frustration on the policeman who is on the road, because at that age, any small thing can make you, angry. Because you see, look, if you see a policeman standing under the sun from morning till sunset, it's not an easy task. And therefore, anybody they come across and the person tends to like kind of misbehave a little bit, it can trigger off any kind of quarrel amongst them. Because one, they are not young enough to withstand the kind of rigors of the job. Two, no provision is made for, assuming for example now you see a policeman on the road, for example maybe you are at a particular checkpoint, and somehow as you are driving you see a van bringing food for them. Would you be happy that somebody is bringing food for police officers who are on duty? Then when you drop the food, then they take their time to turn by turn go to eat your food, then come back again to work. Now there are these people that you be located in a place where you don't even find food. A hungry man is also an angry man. So the condition of work, just like you painted before, is so much that the poor condition is so much that you can't expect the best from somebody who's working under this kind of a condition. We find our police officers. It's a big problem. Beyond the salaries we are paying, a working environment is supposed to be. I don't see somebody who just walked out of an AC environment and maybe goes outside to just on a surveillance visit for like 3 hours and comes back again to the office. I don't see him as somebody who is likely to misbehave. But you see them like the police work is harder than farm work in Nigeria.
All right, so this is Noble TV Live. Of course, we have shared our views on the activities of counter-attacks, police brutality versus civilian brutality, which is becoming rampant. And of course, we are saying from this studio that both sides should cease fire. It's uncalled for. Let's not trigger war. Let us behave sensibly. Let's maintain law and order at every point in time. With me in the studio is Augustine Omilo. I is Chidi Peters. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. This is Double TV Live.